YouTube and Canadians again. I'm here at the Goa beach and it's absolutely beautiful. You can see all around me that there's lots of green scenery and it's absolutely beautiful. But today I'm going to share with all of you, since I'm here at the ocean and I'm far away from Canada, I'm going to share with all of you, because I know it's hard sometimes when we get into relationships that we're afraid to admit that we've been wrong or we've been in a relationship that has been abusive. So instead of everybody else being afraid to talk about it, I'm going to do the talking for you. So these are signs of red flags before you get into a relationship, whether you're a man or a woman. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my recent relationship that I just had. And I actually had a relationship with a man who was 55 years old. And he was a local Canadian too. But I'm going to also share with you the things that I've actually learned because of this man. He was quite abusive. He did a lot of manipulating things to interact with women. He was actually a little bit of a predator, as you would want to call it. As you say, the snake and the lion. That's pretty much what he was. So pretty much I just wanted to share with everybody about the experiences that what you need to watch out for before you get into a relationship. When I first met this man, it was a few years back. We started being friends and got into a good friendship. But there was red flags right from the beginning. And because of my insecurities, I didn't quite understand, because I was still growing with life and trying to figure out things. So all of a sudden, this man decided to sneak into my life. And he played a lot of manipulating games like trickery. So if you ever find these things happening right at the beginning of your relationship, they're red flags. So every time I mention something, I'm going to say a red flag, because these are the things you need to be aware of. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. This is just healthy relationship talking. For me, anyway, to express my philosophy in life when it comes to relationships. So this man, he continued to come in, and because I had children, the first thing he did, which I'm aware of now, at the time I wasn't, so it's good, it's good stuff for all you guys to figure out. Number one, he used his money. He was all about the money, the materialistic life. Everybody had to have the perfect clothes, the perfect look, the perfect everything in his world. So he came in knowing that I, as a Canadian, I'm a single mother and I have 3 beautiful children, but I'm simplified. You see, I do secondhand shopping, I go to Value Village, I go to thrift stores, anything I can get secondhand for the right price, I'm in for it. So really, and I grow a garden, and I'm sufficient. And not just that, I'm spiritually happy within myself to be able to do the things simply. I don't have to keep up with the Joneses, because I think my mind's a little bit more fresh. The littlest things I have, the more happier I am. So life is great. But here in India, I am just, really want to express the fact that just talking to everybody worldwide and express my situation, because a part of me needed to express this to everybody in Canada and on YouTube, what relationships were about. But this man really did a number. He took away my spirituality, he took away my happiness, he belittled me, he wore me down, he broke me down into little parts. So everything I ever did at the very end, he made sure that he did. He had to be in competition with me, and really it was a real childish thing that happened in my life. So I just want to let everybody know that the signs are, when you have a bad relationship coming in, the first things you should realize in the life of the relationship is that you should really, really reevaluate the fact that this person, whoever you're with, and if you're together, you guys should be respectful to each other, love each other, honor each other, and accept what each other is doing, and boost each other for whatever treasures that you guys are wanting to do in life. So if you're happy with what you're doing, the other person should be happy for you. This man also did a lot of manipulating. So, cell phones, as you see, are worldwide. I never had a cell phone because I didn't need one. My mind was busy in the garden or outside doing something else, so I never really had time for cell phones. But this man was 55 years old, and he was texting women all through. And because I was such a natural, old-fashioned woman, just living her life, just doing the natural things like cooking and cleaning and doing what I need to do to get on with life. He manipulated that. So women were on the phone and texting. So that's another sign. So if you're a man or a woman and you're texting different people in front of your partner or behind your partner's back, those are red flags. And if you're all about the money, those are red flags. And if you're all about belittling the person you're with and picking that person apart, there's also red flags. So this man, he decided that he was going to wear me down for a year and a half. But to tell you the truth, the only person's fault at the end was mine, because I continued to allow it to happen because I had insecurities. Insecurities which I have to come to the grips of learning of my own self. This is a journey on my own to not allow that kind of behavior in my life. But I grew from it and I understood. But this man also did a lot of gross things, disgusting things, unhealthy, ungodly, unworthy things he did. And he still roams around thinking that this is okay, and it's not okay. So when you are with somebody very special and you're sharing a very sexual, good energy with somebody, it should be about trust, love, friendship, and honoring each other for who you are. And he didn't do that. He lied and he schemed and he cheated and he took away whatever he could, because to boost himself up, he would raise how amazing he was and how much money he had and how beautiful his teeth looked and how beautiful he looked. But really, through all of that, there was nothing beautiful about that, because if you're a really beautiful person, you don't have to rave about all the beautiful things you are and you're about. It just naturally comes out. So he did all those things. And what the scary thing about it all is lying and sleeping around. You know, in this day and age, there's a lot of diseases like AIDS, hepatitis C, STDs, and when there's cheating going on, there's always the risk of sexual transmitted diseases. Thank God I never got any, but it's a very big learning experience for me. So, through the whole relationship I had, he was interacting with other women, going to their house, spending the nights, doing whatever he could to just lie and cheat, instead of just doing the simple thing like we all should. If you're not happy with somebody, you just open up your mouth and you say, I'm not happy, I don't want to be in this relationship, I want out. And you continue to get out, and then you go do what you need to do. But, you know, he continued to manipulate and lie and scheme. So I just want everybody else to know that I'm not embarrassed to share to the world that I have been in a very abusive relationship. But for me, it's not embarrassing, because life is about that. We all seem to be on the right path and learning and, you know, getting to where we need to be. But this guy, I tell you, I came to India to do some healing. Right before I got here, this guy had broke it off with me. And he thought that I was going to be so devastated and so mourning for his love. Well, let me tell ya, it was the best thing in the world that he broke it off with me. Because something inside of me told myself, you have to be careful. 55 years old, over a half a century old, and still trying to be a 15-year-old is not okay with me. It was hard dealing with a man that age, and not all men are that age, at that age are that weird and strange. This guy here was a real typical abusive man, not only mentally, physically, emotionally. It was all about him being very rude, being very obsessive, being very jealous, being very manipulating, lying and cheating and scheming. And it was not okay with me. And now I've learned a big, huge lesson that I would rather just be alone and just get to be by the ocean and be thankful that I'm just here, alive, healthy, fresh, and clean, right by this beautiful, beautiful jungly forest here in India, right by the blue sea. And here, as you can see, just by the sand and the rocks, it's amazing. Life is good. But I just wanted to let everybody know that everybody makes a mistake in life. Everybody picks the wrong person. We seem, as people, we seem to pick the opposite of who we are. When we're trying to be the good people and try not to lie and scheme and cheat and just grow through life being healthy and clean and sufficient, because our economy right now, we are really, really, really looking at it pretty seriously. I mean, really, is it worth hurting one another? Is it worth being mean to each other? Is it worth stressing and getting diseases because of stress? I mean, stress can cause all kinds of things. It can cause cancer. It can cause heart attacks. It can cause strokes. It can cause sugar diabetes. It can cause anything in the world. So, is it really worth all the stress to wear you down to die earlier? We already have enough to worry about right now. So life should be about being healthy and just loving each other and loving our kids. Man, money isn't all to life. The littlest we have, the more appreciated we should be. Because really, the more you spend money, the more materialistic things. This society wants everybody to have all this money and all this stuff. But really, once you strive for that, you end up with nothing. You ended up with bills and loans and unhappiness and fighting, and at the end you gain nothing but unhealthy everything. It's called unhealthy stuff. So I just wanted to let everybody know that life is way too short for abusive people to walk into your life and to take away everything that you have. And I experienced this with this 55-year-old man who was from Vernon, BC, and he was absolutely horrible, and I never want to get into a relationship with somebody like that ever again, because not only did he lie to my children, he lied to me, and he did things that I have never experienced in my life. Never have I experienced such disrespect. And now, what the most amazing thing out of it all is that he's probably wheeling and dealing all his old exes, going in and out of their lives and trying to look like the good person and throwing money into it. You know, it's quite amazing once you're out of that situation. It is quite amazing how it really looks on the outside. And for him, I do forgive him for all the things that he's done to me, but I will never forget. And I would hate for this to happen to anybody else in life, because life is too short. And guys like this, or anybody in this world like this, whether you're a man or a woman, really need to really realize, because you know what? When you treat people like this, and you hurt them and you lie and cheat, it comes back to you at the end, and that's what happens. Karma comes back, or the universal calling is what it's called, will come back to you, because there's a saying, you treat people the way that you want to be treated. So if you're treating them like disrespectfully, you're going to get that back. But if you're putting out the love and the honor, you're going to get it back towards you. So life is really good here in India, and I just wanted everybody to know worldwide that our economy worldwide is really horrendous right now. And you know what? Growing gardens and being good to each other and not lying and scheming and being thankful and teaching our kids good values and doing compost, just recycling and not using enough, don't use lots of, your vehicles and pollute the world. Just try to do as simple things every day as you can. And the most of all, just be thankful that you're actually living and breathing and healthy. That's the thing we need to really look at. And right now, I'm really thankful that I'm here in India, and I just get to sit here by the ocean and love it and respect it, and just respect the fact that, you know what? We all make mistakes, and I just wanted to let you all know that red flags in relationships are just what I said. Watch out for people spending too much money and acting too friendly, and not just that. Remember who you are. Don't feel too insecure. Don't let that person wear you down and drag you down. If you're in a relationship, it should be boosted up. Both of you should be growing into a flower, not wilting into a flower. Growing into a bloom, not dying, and the leaves wilting. That's what, this is the history of it all. And we need to respect the history of what's going on. So I just want to say thank you, and I want to share to everybody in the world that this is what happened to me, and I'm not embarrassed, because you know why? We're all human. We're here. We make mistakes, and we grow, and we learn. But if we keep making these mistakes, we're not growing. We continue to be in the same boat. And you know what? For this poor 55-year-old man, I feel very, very sad and sorry for him, because at 55,